2. Welcome back, you guys. Episode 11 of Grief Uncensored. I'm Yako.
And I'm Julia.
And we fucking forgot to do that again last
week.
episode.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's okay. Definitely this topic would have made more sense to do last week because it was my dad's 1-year death anniversary last week. But this week, we will be talking more about anniversaries, birthdays, holidays, the big days. The big days that, honestly, we all dread after a loss like this.
Yeah. It's just like you're thinking about them all the time because you know they're coming.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Especially, like, the first holiday season, if you will.
Oh, God.
The holiday season is all about, like, joy. Family. Yeah, like, bringing... joyfulness with your family, like getting together, presents. It's just a lot, you get time off. It's like a lot of people have vacation time, so you get to spend it with your family, and, you see all these family Christmas movies, and it just triggers a lot of nostalgic memories that can be very hard to think about. And also, like, having to, just, like, experience the first holiday without them was really horrible, right? Yeah.
Honestly, let's just get right into it and start right into it, and let's start with that holiday season.
Right.
For me, I celebrate Christmas, and I was, like, dreading it because immediately, so my mom died December 11th, so it was, like, about to be my birthday in a couple days. My birthday's on the 14th. So it was, like, that whole season for me now is just, like, I absolutely wish I could, like, hibernate and just, like, come back in the spring.
Yeah.
Because it's just so painful to be alive during that time. And her absence is so loud that it makes it unbearable. Yeah. And, it sucks because, maybe if she died in June, I could maybe enjoy my Christmas and my birthday a little bit more. At least that's what I tell myself. I don't know if that's actually true.
I mean,
either way, her presence is loud as fuck. Either way, her presence is loud during the holiday season.
Right.
But also because it's also her death anniversary, then my birthday, then Christmas.
Yeah, it's like back-to-back whammies.
It's a lot. And it is just so, so sorrowful. Yeah,
and especially with, like, that person, like, your mom was probably the one, like, cooking the family meals and decorating the home, making it, like, what it is.
Special.
Making it as, like, the magic that Christmas has. You know what that is? It's your parents putting in the work to make it that.
Exactly.
When you're younger, you, like, feel this, like, Christmas miracle vibe, and you're like, wow, like, it's all
It's just your parents who love you so damn much.
Exactly, and as you get older, like, that illusion kind of, like, that cloak kind of comes down a little bit, and you, like, see it for what it is, which is, like, just your parents working hard to, like, make this special holiday for you, you know? And unfortunately, I mean, I'm sure there's no little kids listening to this. Santa's not real. Like, and it's just your parents who,
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And it's just your parents who love you so much, and, having that first Christmas and holiday season without them, just like you said, like, you feel their absence so much, and it just hurts. It's just painful. Honestly, I can say, like, for the past maybe, like, 8 years of my life, Christmas and the holiday season was always kind of sad, just because if you come from a divorced family, or if you have, like, experienced, like, a broken little family like mine, if you have experienced some, like, family issues, like, Christmas and the holiday season is definitely kind of a painful time, because if you have a small family, you don't really have, like, this big family gathering like other people do, and honestly, it's really hard not to compare. It's really not hard because people are posting, like, on their Instagram, like, what they got for Christmas, or, like, spending time with their families, and you're just over here, like, not really doing anything. So, I mean, that was really hard. But also, what was really hard about this specific past Christmas for me was kind of just, like, looking back at the times and thinking, like, oh, wow, I should have been more grateful, even if, like, it was hard back then. Like, I should have been grateful for the fact that everyone was still alive and that we were all able to still get together, even though my family was small. And so that brought a whole nother layer of, like, sadness to my Christmas season.
Totally.
And we'll go into it in the next episode when we talk about guilt. But yeah, there's definitely some guilt played in that feeling too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Also, another tough one is Thanksgiving. It's just another really family-orientated holiday where you like get together with your family and you're just supposed to be grateful, giving thanks, you know, eating this great meal that oftentimes, like, again, your parents and your family cook for you. And the whole theme of it is gratitude, and it's hard to be grateful.
So true. Fucking Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
No, I actually remember last Thanksgiving we were like, all right, like let's go around the table and say something you're thankful for, and I was like, I literally cannot think of anything. Mm-hmm. Like I'm too like. You know, of course I was able to think of some things,
right.
But in that moment I'm just like dreading it, and I don't want anyone to ask me that because I'm like. Nothing. I feel like I have nothing to be grateful for when like my mom just passed away.
Right. Yeah. It's just like so. It's like I mean, the whole theme of the holiday is to like stay grateful, and that's like a lot of things. That's like what people say to us when you lose someone. Is like, oh, focus on the positive. Like, you know, be grateful that you had them, and it's like kind of like goes into like at least statements, and it's like a whole holiday where you have to focus on them, and it can be very painful to have to do that, especially when you're in such a negative like headspace and you're dealing with such a hard, heavy loss. So like your heart is so heavy. Like, how am I gonna just like now focus on what I'm grateful for a day and like pretend like I'm okay? Mm-hmm. I think also the hard part about holidays is like being around family and having to put on this front or like this face of like being okay and like, you know, smiling and greeting your family and seeing all these people you haven't seen in like however long, and they're like, how are you? How's everything been?
Yeah, it's so true. Answering all those damn questions.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how are you? You know, like, what's post-grad life like?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your job? Like, getting any jobs? And, like, for me, like, I don't want to answer any of those questions. Like, I don't want you to ask me how I'm doing. I don't want you to ask me, how's the job search going? I don't want any of those questions because I'm like, if you're going to ask me anything, it's going to be, like, has to be, like, related to my mom. Like, that's how I feel because I'm like, you know what? Like, this is such a fresh loss, and like I don't want to talk about anything else at this family gathering other than that. And like I remember feeling a lot of like resentment because we didn't have like an in-person Christmas, my family. So we did like a Zoom one, and like everyone was damn ignoring like the fact that she was like dead. Like nobody mentioned it. Nobody even cared to like make a toast.
Yeah.
And like that shit just pissed me off, and I ended up like not really participating.
Yeah,
it was honestly, just like really hurtful,
right.
And I'm like, this is why I hate the holidays. Like everyone's like
just like fake and
exactly. Why is everyone acting so fake? Like
no,
like I'm not gonna sit here and smile on Zoom. Like
at least acknowledge it. Like you know, it's so hard not because it's on it's on the forefront of
everyone.
Like,
everyone sees the elephant in the room, but we're just gonna ignore it, and it's like 10 times more awkward and more hurtful.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that and what not to do, how to help a grieving friend episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely one of them is just to blatantly ignore the elephant in the room and like try to like tiptoe your way around it because it's going to make people feel uncomfortable. No, it's even more uncomfortable is the fact that we're all ignoring it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's definitely what's hardest about those holidays specifically because they're more like family-orientated holidays.
Yeah.
But also another really fucking terrible one after you lose specifically a parent or like a grandparent in some cases, Mother's and Father's Day.
Yeah. Which at this point is coming up soon in the US and then it's already happened. I believe in the UK they're having their Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly
Mother's Sunday or Mothering Sunday. Right.
These things like are just so hard. I mean, I've seen people talk about how you can like turn off your email notifications like that say anything to do with Mother's Day.
Like promos from like your, you know, like
like Etsy is like, like
or Amazon like let's shop the perfect gift for Mother's Day.
Yeah, like spoil her on Mother's Day for what she deserves. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally so annoyed.
Yeah. And the same thing for Father's Day, you know, like you see people out with their families, especially on this day, you're celebrating the mother or father, grandfather, mother, grandmother, blah, blah, blah. And the list goes on, and you're with your family celebrating that specific person. And when that person's gone, you're like, what the fuck, guys? It's so, and it kind of goes into that anger and resentment that we talked about last episode, because it's like, I'm seeing all these people with their mothers, with their fathers celebrating this day that I would love to celebrate too, but I can't, you know? And it's like, they didn't do anything wrong, but I'm feeling so much anger and resentment during that day for anybody who can celebrate it, because fuck, we both know our parents still deserve that clout on that day and like getting all the praise and love that they deserve.
It's just different, like, you know, when everyone, like, I remember, like, social media, bro, goes crazy on fucking Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Oh my God.
Everyone's posting on their stories their mom. I'm like, I cannot physically be on social media right now for like days, because people will do it. I will see it for like 3 days straight. Everyone's posting their mom.
That's so true.
And I'm like, I need to get off this shit right now. And then if I do post my mom, it seems like unhinged that I'm doing that. Instead, I'm just trying to participate because I still have a mom.
Right.
But instead, everyone's like, oh, like, you know, like, and it's just like, okay.
I
like,
didn't even think about
immediately, I hated that part of Mother's Day, because I was like, you know what? I can accept the fact that it's Mother's Day. I still have a mom. She's not here. I'm already fucking sad about that. But, like, you know, I was not expecting to feel all those things around social media.
Right, and also a lot of those, I feel like I feel unhinged, but I feel like no one really actually thinks that I'm hinged. Or maybe they're like, ooh, but like, fuck those people, you know? Like,
I don't know what other people think, but
it doesn't matter, you know?
Matter.
Also, I feel, no, but I'm not saying that in a way to like be like, because I literally feel the same way when I do that too, or like, literally there's this trend that was like, post a picture of your mom or post a picture of your dad, and I wanted to do that, and I still might, but like, I don't want, you know, it's like, ooh, is this like a shit? But you know what? Don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Just if you know, you like you said, you still have a mother. I still have a father, and you have every right to honor them just as much as anybody else. You know, and I think that makes sense that you would. You know?
I did still post her, but I did feel weird about.
No, it's definitely
it inevitably, and I saw all these other people's, and then I did end up getting off social media for those next couple days, because I was like, I just don't want to fucking see everyone's mom. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Again, goes from last week, like
resentment.
Exactly. It just builds a lot of anger and annoyance inside you, because you're just like, okay, I get it. I don't have a mom on Earth anymore. I get it.
No, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And
it's
honestly,
fucking salt in the wound.
social media is like such a huge part of those holidays now too. I totally like completely forgot about that, because people are so gonna post on Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's coming, and we know it. You know, we all know it.
Like, remind me to literally delete social media when Mother's Day comes around.
Yeah. Another really tough holiday is Valentine's Day. You know, it's a day where you're celebrating love with your partner. You know, it's usually with like two intimate partners, and it's like, if you like just lost your partner, your spouse, whatever, like, it is so like that is so,
it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking and so terrible, because they're supposed to be
you're
like,
seeing everyone else rub it in your face. The dinner reservations, the dates, the fucking everyone's dressing up. Yeah, everyone's posting about their significant other.
The vacations, I don't know, like all these things, and you just see love everywhere. Love is in the air.
Yeah, you can't even go to a damn Walmart without seeing candies and hearts everywhere.
Yeah, and you know, maybe you got Valentine's Day gifts for them in the past, and you're like, damn, like, can't do that anymore. And it's just like another month of like, honestly, it's like a whole month starting from like the end of January.
It is.
After New Year's, boom, Valentine's Day stuff is coming out. So true. You know, and you have to see that shit for a whole month. Every single place you go, Target, CVS, like, you know, every single place. You gotta pick up some fucking batteries. No, you gotta see some Valentine's Day stuffed animals on your way out, like. And it's just super triggering, and I can understand how painful that is.
It is triggering, and then it's just a sad day. Like, you don't, you know, have those rituals, like, especially if you were with them for a long time. True. Like, you know, they don't give you gifts this year because they're not here. You're not buying them gifts. And, you know, it's just like this slump of a day instead of the happy, you know, day that it used to be. And I mean, it's just really, really tough. Right. One of those days if you've lost a partner that you used to celebrate Valentine's Day with.
For sure. Also, this could just be like also a tough day if your parents like made that day special for you. I don't know. Some people like have parents who like got them gifts on Valentine's Day and you know, made them you know, did like little card. I don't know, just a little ritual like that. So it could be tough for that reason too. Which is, I mean, all holidays fucking suck when you have
yeah, exactly. All of these
but these ones are definitely harder,
just, specific ones.
Yeah, birthdays, including yours and theirs, it's just, honestly, your birthday is hard because you're like, I'm supposed to be enjoying this day, but also, like, you remember things that they did for your birthday in the past, or wishing that they could have seen you get older. It's just like another symbol of time passing, which is so hard to grasp and as a reality.
That's so true.
Yeah.
when the holiday represents another year, like time passing, you know, such as New Year's, anniversaries, your birthday, you know, where it really like emphasizes another year that's gone by, like those are especially painful because you are having to recognize that time has gone on and is continuing to go on.
Yeah.
And that is like one of the most hurtful realizations.
Yeah.
And just like truths that you're faced with.
Exactly.
And birthdays really fucking emphasize that.
Yeah.
Your birthday, but also when it's their birthday, because it's just every single year another age that they'll never reach.
Right.
And of course another full year of things that they didn't get to see, do, everything. And
death anniversaries kind of go hand in hand with that too, with the concept of having to acknowledge how much time has passed. It's really tough because once, I don't know, I guess it's like it's pretty much a yearly thing. You don't go like, oh, it's been 3, I mean, honestly, no, you do that too. I've done that. I'm like, oh, it's been 3 months since my dad passed, 6, 7, blah, blah, blah. I've been doing that ever since.
Me too.
Every month. And now, you know, we just reached the 1 year anniversary, which was last week. And it was, I mean, it's just like crazy to fucking wrap your head around the fact that it's been a year.
Yeah.
That is such a crazy fact. And then also my birthday was like a couple days before the death anniversary. Like we talk about how both of our parents passed in the same month of our birthdays and our, you know.
Same week.
Same week, yeah, same week. Mine was a little bit, my birthday was before he passed, but I don't know. When I turned 23, I realized the last time I saw him, he was 19. I was 19. So it's been, you know, like, I think I was 19 the last time I saw him. So that is so crazy to wrap my head around, you know, that I'm literally like 23 now. You know? Like, he hasn't seen me at 20. Like, what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 20. But still, even regardless, like, that's a whole 3 years that he hadn't seen me and will not see me for the rest of my life.
That is really sad realization. Like, we're going to continue to get older. You know, my mom did not see me at 22. She did not see me at 23. And she won't see me for the rest of my life, however long I live. So it's just like, it's just, again, one of those fucking realizations slap you right in the fucking face.
Yeah, that's the perfect way
the
to
morning
describe.
That you wake up, every morning, it's another fucking slap in the face. It is really, that is how it feels. It's the first thing you think about, and it's the last thing you think about. And it's just, like, honestly unspeakable sorrow.
Right. Yeah, and then also on other holidays we didn't include, but it could just be holidays that they loved, you know, if they loved Halloween and they decorated their house and, like, loved to give candy to trick-or-treaters or whatever, you know, love celebrating Easter, maybe St. Patrick's Day, I don't know, other holidays that they loved and made special in your home, I mean, could really hurt you, like, when that day comes. Also, another thing I want to talk about, just, like, outside of, like, the days, is just the anxiety leading up to the days.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, because that's, like, such a big part of why it's so bad for all of these specific days. Because Mother's Day, let's take that for instance, is not for, like, a good month and a half or 2 months, but, like, I'm already having anxiety about it now.
Yeah.
So it's, like, all this anxiety building up for something in the future and pretty far in advance. That's like 8 weeks that I'm gonna have anxiety about it until this one day finally comes, you know? And it's so tiring. Like, it really is draining.
Yeah, it's like this dread for that day. You know you're preparing yourself for how awful it's gonna be.
Dread.
You're running through these scenarios of, like, nostalgia, like the past days, the past holidays that passed. I don't know, like, what you're about to endure on that day, too.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you're, like, trying to almost prepare yourself for everything you're going to be feeling on that day.
Yeah, and it's, like, sometimes you imagine literally the worst case scenarios, and then, honestly, sometimes you end up having, like, a pretty, like, not to say that it's not a hard day, it is a hard day, but sometimes that anxiety leading up to it is worse than that actual day, because you're feeling this dread for, like, so long, like you said, 8 weeks for Mother's Day, and then on the day it's gonna be like a 24-hour thing.
It's another 24 hours. It's yet another 24 hours.
It's,
you know,
yeah.
like I'm gonna have to make some changes. I'm not gonna be on social media that day. I might do a little journal entry and go to the shrine and whatnot. Like it is gonna be a especially hard day,
right?
But that doesn't mean it's gonna be like the worst day. Like sometimes it feels like the worry that I have leading up to that day is almost worse than just getting through that 24 hours. Because you're right, the 24 hours ends, and then you're like, I just was nervous about that 24 hours for 8 weeks.
Yeah. And then also that, sometimes if it's not as bad, you have guilt for not feeling that grief heavier on those days.
Yeah, that's another thing.
You're like, I should have been way more sad about that. And you kind of like, are like, why did I not? Is it because I don't care? No.
Yeah.
Like, it just happened. And it's like just another 24 hours, like you said. It fluctuates. So sometimes it's heavier. Just, not be happy, but like I would be like feeling kind of like glad that it wasn't as heavy as I.
Of course, yes. No, that's really true. Yeah, and it's really normal. Like people often feel guilty for not feeling sad enough, and like I see it all the time on grief Instagram. Like joy can exist with grief,
right?
And you don't have to feel guilty for feeling joy, especially on those hard days,
right?
But at the end of the day, you do deserve to feel happy on these holidays. Like of course like it's never going to be like it used to be, but like if you do have a good birthday, like you deserved that good birthday.
Yeah.
You deserved that good Christmas or Halloween, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever holiday was special for you.
Yeah, honestly, I felt that with my birthday this past year. It was like literally last week too. And on the day, I can say with my whole chest, like I had a really good birthday. I'm not trying to brag, but I did get this shirt for my birthday. Sob Rock, shout out Julia.
Sob Rock.
We love John Mayer, and honestly, this album is speaking to our brand. Sob Rock.
Sob Rock. I mean, come on, like it doesn't get more perfect than that.
Yeah, John Mayer better pay us for this promo. No, but yeah, I had a really great birthday, and then maybe like a couple days after, like I felt so guilty for like not feeling sad that day, or like just not feeling, as sad
more
as
griefy.
More griefy, and just like thinking about it more and letting myself feel that way. And I felt so guilty about it. It hit me so hard 2 days after. I was like really crying. And it's like just let yourself enjoy the day, and it's so much easier said than done. And I totally feel that, because I'm sitting here saying just enjoy the day, but then again, like you can't fight these feelings of guilt sometimes.
It's true. And then especially like for a birthday, like all these things are going on. Like you're having a party, maybe you're having some drinks, and you're having friends, and like other people are like, so it's like a lot of heightened energy. And then once all that goes away, once your birthday's over, and then like you're left with the grief. But like maybe if like you didn't have any plans for your birthday, or maybe everyone was out of town and you were gonna maybe like celebrate it next week or something, like that specific day might have been a little different.
For sure.
But we were like going since the morning to the night. Yeah.
Literally, I literally didn't
all
have the time.
Day. Yeah. You didn't have the time.
Yeah.
And then there was like a release of the grief after. So just, I don't know, give yourself some grace for that. And again, like never feel guilty try not to feel guilty for feeling the joy, because you do deserve to feel joy too.
Yeah. That's so true. And I really needed that reminder, too.
Yeah. And the last thing I'm going to say is that even though all these anniversaries and all these holidays and birthdays, like, they suck a lot, sometimes it feels like, again, when they're not as bad as maybe we anticipated them to be, like, I start to kind of realize that maybe grief allies or people on the outside think that grief is worse at its heightened state on these anniversaries, birthdays, all these things. But sometimes it's actually not like that at all.
Yeah.
A lot of times grief is most heavy on these smaller, quote unquote, less important days.
Yeah.
Just life in general, when I'm just doing nothing. Maybe one day I have nothing planned and it's just a normal day in my life. That's when grief and her absence is the most heavy.
True.
It could be both. It could be either.
Yeah. For some people, it might be, like, the big days hurt the most. But I feel like even though that may be true, like, grief lives in every day. So it's like every single day you're still fighting that feeling.
Yeah.
And some days are harder than others. And that goes with holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, all that stuff, too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely feel that. Also, like, if you have to work on these holidays on these specific days, it's, like, so hard to, like, see and deal with.
You have to face that.
Yeah, like, for me, I was working Father's Day, and so having to greet all these fathers and, like, their families for Father's Day brunch, and I'm sitting here saying, Happy Father's Day! And it was literally, like, 2 months after my dad passed. I literally was, like, I was so dissociated outside my body. Like,
you gotta dissociate at that point, because you're like, how else am I gonna diss?
I was not there. Physically, I was not there. Maybe my presence was, but, like, that wasn't me. Like, I have no idea, you know?
You gotta do it.
And, also, I would say if you have the time and you have the resources, call out of work on the hard days, knowing that it's gonna be terrible to be there. That's what I did for my dad's 1-year anniversary. I called off work, and, you know, some people don't have the luxury to do that, so I'm not sitting here saying that, you know, like, that. But if you do, I would say it's not a bad idea to take some time off and honor them and let yourself feel the guilt. I mean, no. Let yourself... I meant grief, not guilt. Let yourself feel the grief. Let yourself feel the grief. Let yourself be sad. Do whatever you need to do that day. You know, just relax your mind if you have to. Or just, you know, for me, I went to Mount Soledad and honored him on that day. So if you do have the luxury of taking off on those days, you know, if there's some days that you're like, ooh, I really can't stand this day, call off, like, if you can. I think that's a really good...
Yeah. I mean, that's just the worst case scenario. You gotta go serve everyone while they're with their dads.
Yeah.
For Father's Day, I mean, hell yeah, I'm gonna call out. Like, I don't want to put myself through that.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But some jobs, like, are like, you can't call off on holidays.
Yeah. I mean, that's really fucked up. My old job used to be like that.
Yeah,
and be like, okay. But also, it's like, if you can't call out, you can also maybe talk to someone, like, and be honest and be like,
this is gonna be a tough day.
This is really something that I need off. Like, you know, like, it's just not, true. I cannot mentally do that. Yeah,
off, or if you have to go into work, like, you should talk to them and be transparent again and be like, listen, I'm not going to be in my A game if you feel like you're not. I mean, if you feel comfortable enough to do that, I think it's, like, doesn't hurt to, like, communicate that with your superior or, like, with your boss. Just to let them know, like, hey, like, this day is, like, really painful for me. You know, maybe they'll let you go home early, like, or maybe they'll just, like,
cut you some slack.
Yeah, they're just going to cut you some slack, and I think that you need it and you deserve it.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. We know that the holidays and all those days are just like reminders that they're not here and their presence feels so loud on those specific times and days. But, you know, like, grief, like we said, grief lives in every day, and it's like every day is a fucking struggle, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, just talking specifically my experience, like, for me, grief is always living in the every single day, and then I have anxiety leading up to these certain days, and then on something like a birthday or a death anniversary, I will do something specifically for her that I don't do on the, you know,
on the day-to-day.
Off days or the day-to-days, You know, I will write a note and put it in a shrine. I will... you know, do something that directly is, like, honoring her. Yeah, I think that's such a good thing. In the Facebook group that we have that's called Grieving as a Young Adult, I recently asked people, like, what you do to honor your loved one. And a few people have said different things, like they wear their loved one's clothes if they miss them, or on that day they'll, you know, do something that they used to do together.
Or, you know, like Julia said, like write a note and put it in a shrine, or, you know, just stuff like that. Those little things really are so just as meaningful as they sound, you know, and help you feel like you've honored them on their days, on that day. And it's very important, I think, to do that, because I feel like, you kind of, you just have to.
It's just honoring the grief and recognizing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it deserves to be honored because, again, like we always say, that's the love.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Well, yeah, I think that's everything for this episode. Thank you guys for sitting with us again for another episode.
Like we always say, follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, or follow our Facebook group. All you have to do is answer a few questions, and you're in there. And then if you feel called to upload your photos and a caption to feature your loved one, you can find the link in our Instagram bio.
Right.
Press feature your loved one, fill out the form, and your person will be featured on our Instagram page.
Yes, and like and subscribe to YouTube, all of the stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.